Hi, I'm Sam Hampton. Today we're going to do a tutorial on how to capture video off your screen using Video Studio 16 by Corel. You can legally capture any public domain or non-copyrighted video off the internet, and today we're going to learn how to do that. To get started, let's take a look at two programs. One, Google Chrome, and the other is Video Studio 16. We're going to open up both of these programs and place them in our memory and running on our computer, and they'll appear down here on the taskbar. And we'll open up first Corel Video 16, and the screen looks like this. We're in the edit mode, and we have a thing that we will go to the capture mode, and when we do that, but first we need to open up the Google. Here's our Google screen, and we're using Google Chrome. And what we will do is go to up here to the apps and go to our YouTube and find the video that we want to capture. And here we go. We're in YouTube, and I have Googled Sherlock Woman in Green movie. It is in the public domain. Here are several, and you need to choose one that you want to record and archive. The movie is 1 hour and 7 minutes long and 42 seconds. So we can click on one of these movies, and it will open up in YouTube format in the standard format screen. Well, there's a couple of things that we're going to have to do. Number one, we don't want to have such a small screen to copy, so we're going to click on the next screen button. And when we do that, it comes up like this, so that we can see that it's a little larger screen. Now, there's a couple of things we should explain here, is that you want to have a viewing window that you want to copy of about 30 to 50% of what your total screen is. And when we go to this position on YouTube, it is about 31%. The next thing we want to consider is going down here to the little round wheel and clicking on it. And when we do, we see that we get the quality of the movies that will be streamed. At 140, it's not very good. At 240, it possibly could be acceptable. At 360, it can be acceptable. And at 420, 480, it's very acceptable. And 720 and 1080, if your screen will support it, will be even better. Well, at this point, we're going to take 480 and click this down. We're just going to minimize it. And when we do that, our Video Studio 16 comes back up. We go from edit to capture, and we put on the screen capture down here. And when we do that, we get a little pop-up like this. And at that point, we're ready to start setting some parameters in our screen capture program. And right here are the settings, and we want to go in and look at those, and we're going to bring up the Google screen or the YouTube screen right behind this setting. When we do that and click the button, we get this setting right here. Right, the settings are, we can give a file name to our capture, a place to capture. We want to capture it to our library, and the format is WMB. And that is a good standard format or container to capture almost any movie. If you're at about 25 to 50% screen size, capture in any of the other programs, if you do, to WMA, and 30 frames per second. Here's our voice choices. You can either do a voiceover, or you can click this. You cannot and do pick up the sounds from the speakers. You can't do both at once. So once we have those set, we can go back, and here's our little screen capture thing. It's at full screen when you set it up. We're going to use this little part here, which is a custom screen set. And what we do is we go in here and bring up the YouTube screen. And when we do that, we're going to scrub through the movie to find a good light place where we can place our screen selection. We pull back up our screen capture thing, click on this little box here, and what happens is that the screen grays out, and we can take our cursor and pull down a window. As such, we want to pull down the window so that we can capture the entire portion of the visible screen. This is all that is going to be captured. Now we want to make a couple of little considerations here. If we get down too far down here with our screen, we're going to pick up a red line from the playing of the video. If we get up here and make it too close to the top, we're going to get a white line up the top. And once we've got this set, we want to do one last thing, and that is adjust our volume to about 50%. And once we do those things, we're pretty well ready to go. We're going to see our screen where it's going to capture. We have our little red button up here we can capture. And what we do is we scrub back and don't touch the play button until we touch the record button. And when we touch that record button, something magic's going to happen. It's going to go into a countdown mode. And after a couple of seconds, then you can hit the play button and capture the movie. It'll take 1 hour and 7 minutes to capture the movie. And you just sit and watch and enjoy the movie as you're capturing it. When the movie finally ends, you come down to your lower taskbar down here, or someplace wherever it appears on your computer, and click that up, and the record button will come back up, and you can stop the collection process. You can stop the capture process. And it says your screen capture is complete now, and once you click this off, you are going to go back into Video Studio 16 into the capture mode. Okay, and at that point you can look and see what is going on with your movie. We go to the edit portion of the film, and we will look at this and click this down, and in our edit screen here, we'll see that there is our movie, a little thumbnail of it, and it has been placed into the active line of the video studio. Now, we want to do a couple of things to this. So what we do is we click on this twice, and voila, a single clip editor comes up. Well, you know, we paused just a little bit before we went into this, and before we turned on the play button. So there's a certain amount of garbage, black garbage, at the front of this film strip. We'll sort of scrub through here with a little wheel here until we come to the point where the movie starts to play, or we want to start to play the movie. Then we'll take the beginning symbol here and click on it, and it will trim the movie to this point. Then we can go to this button, which is go to the end of the file, and backpedal, if we've overdone it, to where the end comes along and do the ending part of this. Okay, and then we click OK, and we get our trimmed movie here. We need to eliminate the untrimmed movie copy from here, so we just delete it, and we take this and drag it down to here, and here is our WMV movie in the timeline, ready to do the next process. Now, WMV is a container, not a codex. And so we want to put this in a codex, and in order to do that, we must come up here to the share portion of our program and select MPEG Optimizer. And the MPEG Optimizer just speeds up and changes the WMV into an MPEG 4 format. And it goes through a codex. The WMV is a very compressed. MPEG 4 will decompress it, and take that MPEG file, and we can put it onto a DVD. So here we go. When we do this MPEG Optimizer, the next screen will come up, and it'll say, gee whiz, here's your parameters and everything. You can show more or less, but the maximum safe size, and you have to do that with these little things here. You can't just type it in. You can up or down this. Normally it will do your calculations for you, but 43 something is about the maximum megabyte size you want in a file. You can actually get 2 hours and 5 minutes on a 4.7 disc with this copy. If it's over that, you're going to either have to reduce this number to an acceptable number, and you may have to try a couple of times to get it to the file size you want, or you can put it on 2 discs, split it up and put it on 2 discs, which would be acceptable for long movies, say a 3.5 or 4 hour movie. And at this point, we accept this, because I know that it's going to be small enough to fit on a 4.7 disc, and I accept it. And when I do that, well, it comes up and says, oh, give me a file name, and here's my capture and render file program, I've already captured this. I've already rendered this. The file is about 365 KBs. The MPG file that we're getting ready to create will be 23 megabytes. And we're going to save that, and when we do, the rendering process starts. Now you can click this little button here and you can preview it in this screen, the progress. It's taken 1 hour and 7 minutes to collect this, and it's going to take about 40 minutes to render it. You can pause it here, or you can press escape on your keyboard to abort it. But we are taking a WMV file and creating an MPG file. So here we go. We're going to do that. And once that's complete, the WMV file still be down here. We can have our MPG file up here, and here's our original WMV file. So at this point, we want to eliminate this file. If we have, the one reason we do this MPEG thing is if we need to do further editing, or we want to do some color correction or whatever, we can do that. We could do it here, but we could do that, and when we go back through the MPEG optimizing, it will not take as long to do. So here we go. We take and we go to share. Well, we do new project first and eliminate this, and then do new project, and then we'll click on share, and we can look at our disk and we can create a DVD. We take and pull this file down into here. Here is the MPG file. The WMV file has been deleted. It's still up here in our library, but we deleted it from the timeline here. So here we go. We got the MPG file. We're going to create a disk, and we're all ready to go with this. So when we create a disk, we go down and say create a DVD disk, and up pops a window. It'll load in the file that's on the timeline here, and it will show you that it is the correct length. It's all green, so it'll fit on to a 4.7 disc. The one thing it says is, hey, we're going to create a menu. I don't create menus on my video movies. I just like to have them play continuously. My settings down here are all correct. They're 16 by 9. I have used unclick this, and once I do, I'm going to next, and when I go click the next button, I get a screen that says, oh, you don't want a menu, so I'll just daisy chain this video. So it'll play the movie, and instead of stopping, it'll play the movie over and over and over till you stop it with the stop button on your VCR. Then you click next and put in a disc. I'm using a DVD-R, which is really good with this program. And here you click created to create the disc. You change the name of the project up here and create write to disk. You can also create a DVD folder and a disk image, which is an ISO file. We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, you're ready to burn the project. You have some other parameters here, but they're probably preset. I don't really ever change them. And I click the burn to disk, and it will take about 20 to 30 minutes to complete that file and burn the MPEG file to disk. Once that happens, voila, it will put the information on the disk that'll be bootable in your DVD player. And in our folder, we have the Woman in Green WMV file still, the Woman in Green MPG file, which is the one we just optimized. Since I clicked the other thing, it also made a video TS folder and an audio TS folder. This folder is empty, but this one contains the information that plays and is put on the DVD. And let's take a look at that. Let's open up the folder, and boy, it's got all those VTS 01, and what does all this mess mean? Well, this absolutely video TS info file is for the VLC video player. The IFO is an information file, and the BUP is a backup. The other IFO is information for the DVD player, a backup. The VOB files, which are video object files, are where your movie is. If you click this file here and here, it will play the movie. And it's an interesting process to note that the original file was 374,272 kilobytes. The MPEG file is about 5 to 6 times larger than that. It's 2.3 megabytes. And as you can see back here, the video file is 1.6 megabytes. So it very well will fit on a video disc. Well, that pretty well will get you to the point where you can absolutely go onto the internet and click almost any place you can download or stream a video, and you can archive it, put it in video 16, and make a DVD out of it. There are many screen capture programs on the internet, and they all have different ways of capturing, and you can learn from them. Some of them are paid programs, some of them are free programs. I used to use one that was NCH's debut program, which is pretty good. But if you will use the WMV file format collect in, get you something that will turn it into an MPEG, then you can write it to disk in a pretty unique manner. The one thing about it is that no one can tell whether you're recording the video. And unlike downloading a video file, you can't get a virus. So it's a pretty safe and convenient way to make archives for your video collection. I hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the future. Thanks for watching.